squads. This is England, and I'm doing the 1930s. And I'll get straight into it, really, with this one. This one I find will have a lot of the bodyline England team that went to Australia and to shut down Don Bradman. There is a famous TV program called Bodyline on YouTube. I think it's about 8 parts, or is it 6 parts? It's outstanding. A lot of these players are actually in that film, or represented by actors in that film. So I'll start off with Willy Hammond, who would have been the superstar behind Bradman of that era. There's no way I can represent him on here because skills don't stretch far enough for his bowling and his batting, particularly his batting. He was superb. I'm going to try and just readjust him ever so slightly to make him more of a batsman. But he was a fantastic bowler as well. But I think he's probably just more well known for his batting. So I'm just going to quickly switch him. Personality just that of a batter. Let's have a look and see what that does. So that will free up some of these, of which there's no doubt he had these skills. Don't like special shots for these guys. These are traditionalists, this lot, these players. And the bowling, you can't change it, but that doesn't mean it won't be good, because I've given him bowling skills. There we are. Just so that he can shine a bit more, because I don't think he shines the way he should in the game so far from what I've seen. So that is Willy Hammond. I'm just sharing him again. He's been downloaded 57 times. Right, let's get back into it. So there he is. Willy Hammond's the star of the side, and he is going to be followed in this squad by Dulip Sidji, the Prince, another outstanding batsman of the era. Him and Jardine fell out, Jardine being the captain, because he did not like the body line that was being used. And there's a famous line in the film, and it's quite interesting what Jardine says to him. You have to watch the film though. Then you got Jardine. Douglas Jardine is one of the most controversial figures in English cricket history. Aristocratic, mentored by Percy Fender, like I said, chosen by the cricket authorities for his application and his personality to go and fetch the Ashes off of the Australians. It was he who thought that Bradman did not like pitched up balls, and devised with his bowlers what is called the leg theory. Very controversial of it at his time. And Douglas Jardine, I think, after he captained England in this series, I don't think he captained them again or played for them again. But he's a controversial character, and he won the Ashes. And when I was growing up, I used to read about Jardine and boo him. But as I got older, I began to understand why he did it, what he did, and I could understand he just wanted to win. Then you've got another player of note. I wouldn't say note in terms of achievement in comparison to other greats, but in terms of he's organised a lot of tours, either in his playing days or after, and that is Walter Robbins. Then you've got a bowler that I definitely remember hearing about in the 80s, even though it's from the 1930s. By the 1980s, he was a selector for the England cricket team, or was just finishing up. And I do remember the name Gubby Allen a lot. Gubby Allen. And it was Gubby Allen. And I realised in the 1930s he was an outstanding bowler for England. Then got another batsman bowler called Stan Nichols. Don't know much about Stan Nichols other than what I've read to create him here. But the player I do know a little bit about is Eddie Painter. Eddie Painter scored his heroic, I think it's century or double century, in that Bodyline Ashes tour. For whatever reason, never had a long career, but I do know he nearly died in that heroic innings he played in Australia, the fever or something like that. and he went out to bat, and his innings won the match for England, as I recall. Then you got a player that's well written about a lot for the fact that he was killed in the Second World War, actually, and that's Headley Verity, one of Britain's best Britain's best slow left arm orthodox bowlers ever, and that's Headley Verity, a Yorkshireman. Sadly died in the Second World War, so he could not prolong his career, but he's still a legend to this day, all the same. Got another legend in cricket. It's Harold Larwood. Harold Larwood was the fast bowler used by Jardine to take out Bradman. It was his pace that would scare Australian batsmen, and when he would hit them, he become very unpopular with the Australian crowds. However, later on, don't think he played after the Bodyline series, but he did actually become friends with the Australian people, and I do believe he ended up living there for the rest of his life. Harold Larwood is another one of these mythical, historical figures that's in that film, Bodyline. It's a really great film. It talks about, you should see what kind of life Harold Larwood had. They got Maurice Leyland, another superb cricketer of his time. Another one in the future captain, I think, opening bat, Bob Wyatt. I think Bob Wyatt was the vice captain on the Bodyline tour. Got Freddie Brown, decent fast bowler. Ken Farnes, another fast bowler of the era. Les Ames, a really champion wicketkeeper that could bat. Then you got another player from the era, the Nawab of Pataudi Senior. His son, the Nawab of Pataudi Junior, would lead India to success in the 60s and reinvent Indian cricket. I'm pretty sure that Nawab of Pataudi Senior played cricket for England and Australia, and might actually appear in the Indian database in a different era. Bill Bowles and Bill Voss was the left arm and the right fast medium bowlers that did Jardine's bidding. If he told them to come on, they'd come on. And along with Larwood, would give the Australian batsmen hell with theory, because not everyone on that Bodyline tour liked it or enjoyed it. These guys, it seems, Bill Bowles, Bill Voss, and Harold Larwood, they would become the spearheads of that Bodyline tour. Then you've got Cyril Waters and Tommy Mitchell. So this does have the basis of the 1930-31 England team. And if you go back to the top, the funny thing was, as I watched that show, Bodyline, on YouTube, I don't remember much about Hammond, but Hammond was actually on that tour. Just don't recall anything being said about him, so he couldn't have had a good tour, but he was on it. Jardine, however, is the man. And what a sinister cricketing figure in history he has become. So what's the lineup for this particular team? As I said, the vice captain of their Bodyline series opens the batting with Maurice Leyland. Leyland is solid enough. White you can get at. Then you got Willy Hammond, you got Douglas Jardine, Eddie Painter, and Tulip Sinji, the Prince. That's a pretty solid front six, with Les Ames also being able to handle the bat. And if you talk about fast bowling, they don't get much faster than Harold Larwood, and also Bill Voss. And for some reason, I put Headley Verity on the bench. Verity could actually start because you've got Larwood, Voss, Gabriel, and Bowles, which means I could and Hammond as well, which means I could take out one of the batsmen. That's probably why I did it, because I didn't know who to take out. So Verity should actually be in there in place of, I'm not sure which one to take out, probably Tulip Sinji, but at the moment I leave it as it is. As for the uniforms, there it is. You got the old MCC jumper, the classic World Series jumper kit that I made, which is pretty much using an existing logo and then using the template to colour in the actual jackets. So nothing really scientific there. Colour in the jumpers, I should say. And that is that. So if you have a like I said, I've done all these squads for every single test playing nation in cricket, except for probably Ireland. I think that's because they're quite new. Here's my academy. I've done Australia, I've done all the episodes for Australia. I've already done England 1900s, 1910s, and just finished the 1990s, 1920s. And I'll do a future episodes for all of these ones. We've got your Indians, you've got your New Zealanders, the Pakistanis, South Africans, Sri Lankans, and of course the West Indians and Zimbabweans. All have got their own stories to tell. All have had their squads to reveal. Remember, no one man can appear on two squads. So if you like, press like, and I'd love a subscribe. Thank you very much.